The Jackson State football team and Coach Prime making some more history as their spring game will be the first HBCU spring game ever broadcasted on national television. We're going to talk about it and how that changes the game for all HBCUs moving forward. Again, after the bumper. What's good people? What is good people? My name is JeffLightsyJr here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, it has been announced by Jackson State themselves that their spring game will be nationally televised on ESPNU for the first time ever, and they become the first HBCU with a spring game nationally televised. Now, as you know, if you follow college football, especially the high-level Power 5 college footballs, teams like Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, all these different other teams, they get their spring games nationally televised because there's storylines that we're following, whether it's who's going to be the next quarterback at Ohio State before last year, or how was Alabama bounce back after winning a national championship and having a guy who didn't play much be their quarterback in Bryce Young, or even this year having the Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young and bouncing back from a championship game loss to Georgia. Then you go down to Georgia and talk to Stetson Bennett and all those guys after losing a bunch of guys to the NFL in the NFL draft and winning the national championship. So those are major storylines that ESPN and other networks follow when they go to these spring games. Well, Jackson State has a ton of storylines. Obviously, after winning the SWAC championship for the first time in nearly a decade, after winning the SWAC championship for the first time in over a decade, and winning the SWAC East for the first time in nearly a decade, and then you top that off, you lose in the Celebration Bowl. So that is like, whoa, how do you bounce back from that? But then you top that off by getting the number one player in the country, the first 5-star to ever go to a HBCU team, to HBCU school, to an HBCU conference, to an FCS school. And then you get a national recruit at the All-American game down in San Antonio, commit to Jackson State. So there's a bunch of storylines from Kevin Coleman and Deion Sanders to him losing his toes and all of this other stuff. And let me go ahead and let's read the article put out by Jackson State. It says football spring game to be nationally televised on ESPNU. The 2022 Jackson State University football spring game will be nationally televised Sunday, April 24th at 5 p.m. on ESPNU. The 2021 Southern Athletic Conference football champions will conclude the spring practice session at Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium. The game will be free and open to the public, with more details coming soon. Being the first HBCU to have our spring game nationally televised is a monumental leap in the right direction for Jackson State and all HBCUs, said JSU head football coach Deion Sanders. It's time that we're seen, heard, and recognized. 2022 JSU football season tickets are on sale. So get your tickets, I love. So this is them once again pushing the ball forward. I mean, for all the haters and the lovers and everything that however you feel about Deion Sanders, or however you feel about Coach Prime in the JSU program, they continue to push the ball forward. They continue to have momentous moves. They continue to do things that are unprecedented. And getting this spring game on ESPNU and being the first HBCU with a nationally televised spring game is big, because what is that? What is the word that we've been using for HBCUs? What is the word? There's a couple of words that we've been using. The one is resources, and two is the exposure. We're getting a ton more exposure, pre-draft process, post-draft process, college process, the experience, the college experience, and not just the games, but everything else that takes place at the HBCU level. That's the exposure that you need. Having the spring game nationally televised, that's the exposure that you need, because now you're looked at as a premier, as a real program, because the real and the premier programs get their spring games nationally televised. I just mentioned the reason why they do it. They do it because they have storylines to follow. They have unique storylines to follow. Well, Jackson State is in that same boat. Jackson State and a few other HBCU programs are in that same boat. But once you get Jackson State, that's how the ball gets to rolling for all the other programs. That's how the ball gets to rolling for the Gramblin's and for the FAMU's and for the Bethune-Cookmans and for the Southerns and for, even the schools in the MEAC, the South Carolina States, the Norfolk States, et cetera, the Howards or whatever. So that is how you get the ball rolling. And when you have a provocateur of change, like Coach Prime has called himself, this is how you get deals like that done. This is only going to continue to raise everything up, not just in the SWAC, not just for Jackson State, but for all HBCU programs, athletics, and then specifically football, even more specific. So I'm so happy that this is happening. This is a big deal. And this is just one of many things that continue to change, and one of many ways how you continue to get resources poured into your universities when you're able to make deals and make moves like this one. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Down below. Once again, my name is JeffLightsyJr. with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, JeffLightsyJr., and also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JLightsy7. That is Twitter and Instagram at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button before you leave, and I'll see you next time. Peace.